So you want to get into electronics and circuits, or you just want to review something? Well, this video I will be covering basic circuit components and their basic functionality. And before you rip my head off, yes, I know certain components have different functions and work in different ways, can work in different ways. Just remember, this is a basics video. Alright, let's start with circuit. Just like a racetrack, it goes round and round. Or at least, it's all connected. This is called a closed circuit. If there is a break in the circuit, this is what we call an open circuit. Because it's open. Now typically an open circuit doesn't function, but there are exceptions, of course. Battery. Battery is indicated by these symbols. Has a positive terminal and a negative terminal. Sometimes the battery is loosely referred to as a power source. Could be a solar power source, a wind power source, some other kind of power source. Voltage is mentioned, unless of course you need to solve for it, or you need to solve for current. Resistors are indicated by these symbols. They are measured in ohms. The higher the number, the larger the resistance. These will have an effect on a circuit's voltage and current. An example is a voltage divider. Capacitors are indicated by these symbols. They are measured in farads, often in microfarads. They store energy much like a battery, but charge and discharge very fast, so be careful when handling one. Inductors. When you learn electronics, this pops up a little later. It can be difficult to pick the right value for your circuits, but is still essential. It is measured in henries, and inductor is a component with many wounds of copper wire. It stores energy as a magnetic field and is often used to boost voltages in a circuit. Forgive me for not detailing further on inductors just yet, as they really require their own video, or 2 or 5, because they can get complex. Bonus components for beginners: diodes. There are great many diodes, such as light emitting diodes or LED. Others are like blocking diodes, which allow current to only flow in one direction, not backwards. Or bypass diodes, to bypass something in a circuit. An example of a bypass diode. Let's say you have 3 solar panels, all in series. We'll learn about series later. They are all in series. Now what happens, typically, if you block the light of one solar panel, the others will also feel the blockage, So let's say, solar panel 1, 5 volts, 2, 5 volts, 3, 5 volts. If you block the first solar panel, the other ones will also drop down, maybe 2 volts, 1 volt, they could die completely. So what a bypass diode does is place between the solar panels. When this one goes dark, these ones will just be like, hey, forget this guy, let's just keep going. I can't think of a good analogy, but that's typically how a bypass diode will work. So, these are your beginning components. Likely in school, your next step will be to solve for circuits. Solve the missing values, solve parallel, solve in series, what each component does in parallel series. So my next video will be on building circuits with a few notes and tips. Now, why am I making these videos? There is an abundance of videos on the internet and they are very informative. And maybe easier to learn than mine. So this is sort of me trying to review something that I know, and if someone likes the way I explain things, then they will hopefully follow a series that I make. Anyway, for me, my mind always goes off in tangents, so it's hard for me to focus on one thing at a time. Sometimes it's easier to learn something, sometimes it's hard or difficult, boring, whatever the case. Next day, that might be easy for me. So that's how my mind works. My workbench, or my makeshift workbench in my living room, in my tiny apartment, is covered in finished projects, half-completed projects, beginning projects. And so some of the projects I just need to document, some I need to record, some I need to finish. And again, my mind is off in tangents all the time. Finish this project? No, it's too boring. Go to the next one. Next day I'll finish this one. And then it's like this. It's like 1, 2, back, 1, 2, back, 1, 2, back. Anyway, if you like this content, do all the normal YouTube stuff. Thanks. Goodbye. Goodbye.